Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you all are doing great. So the month of October has started, and along with that, the Cybersecurity Awareness Month has also started. Effective cybersecurity is not a new business issue. It has been high on the board agenda of many large companies for quite some time. There have been enough high-profile incidents in recent years to mean that senior leaders are well aware of the risk and the cost of any failure to manage them effectively. Yet, too often, that awareness is not translated into a real understanding of the threat they face today. Part of the problem is that cybersecurity is complex. The threats and technologies are constantly evolving, and business models are always being transformed to meet shifting customer expectations. However, instead of trying to understand the complexity, many organizations look for oversimplified solutions. There is a tendency to take a one-dimensional approach to cybersecurity and assume that the problem is a technical one, and so can be solved by technical applications. This is simply not the case. To build truly effective cyber defenses requires a whole range of human and organizational responses alongside the technical ones. Companies should not assume that because they are spending a lot on cybersecurity products, they are well protected. Instead, they should develop more holistic approach based on a detailed understanding of how their businesses generate value first and how to protect the elements that are critical to success. Organizations should start by identifying the critical parts of their operations that depends on IT. From any street shop with digital cash registers to airplanes with online check-in and baggage management system, it is hard to think of any modern organization that is not highly dependent on IT systems today. Yet many of them continue to lack understanding of the risk this brings, or to fail to communicate those risks across the organization. The starting point of any cybersecurity plan has to be effective identification of risks, and there are plenty of tools available to support this work. For example, value chain mapping, which helps commercial organizations identify all the activities necessary to generate revenue and therefore what needs to be protected. Fault tree analysis is another helpful tool that works backward from a worst case scenario to understand how it could have happened, while event tree analysis works the other way around by looking at minor events and their potential consequences. These relatively simple processes can be used to help identify which functions are critical to what the organization does and the effect of any failure on that activity. It is important to recognize that each will have a different kind of value to protect. For a supermarket, a failure that results in an inability to process payments at the cash register would remove their ability to generate revenue and destroy value if it takes a lot of time to recover that service. In contrast, in an organization that holds sensitive personal data, a lack of availability of the service for a short time would be less damaging than losing the data and compromising customers' privacy. Timing also plays a very crucial role. Losing access to HR system would normally just be inconvenient. However, losing access to payroll data when the employees were about to be paid might cause significant problems, reducing employees' confidence with their employers and causing financial hardships as well. Any value chain analysis should also develop an understanding of the interdependencies between the different parts of the organization. The collapse of the British Airways IT systems in May 2017 is a powerful example of the damage that can be caused by not identifying and reducing the interdependencies. An accidental unplugging of the power supply in the data center brought down the airline's entire online check-in, baggage handling and customer contact systems. This resulted in 700 flights being cancelled and cost British Airways about £80 million, along with significant reputational damage, reaching far beyond the 75,000 customers and passengers affected directly. It is clear that many organizations have not carried out a fundamental review of what is really important to their operations. We can see the effects of this in the way the UK's National Health Service (NHS) handled the WannaCry virus in May 2017. Initially, the response was focused on assuring patients that no sensitive data has been lost, yet it soon became clearer that the true impact of the attack was being felt by patients who had treatment cancelled. As IT systems were shut down to prevent the virus spreading, departments stopped working and 19,000 appointments were cancelled because hospitals were unable to or was unprepared to continue without the IT systems. Focusing on the wrong things happens regularly in the aftermath of any cyber incident, as organizations lose sight of what they exist to do and where their value lies. This also makes it harder to recover from an attack. If a restaurant's cash register system crashes at lunchtime, the best option for avoiding financial loss would be to deal with the transactions manually, using a printed price list. Yet, an organization without a proper plan and understanding of what matters will tend to divert all the attention to restoring the IT and ignoring its customer. This particular scenario underlines that understanding and removing any critical dependency can be a highly effective and inexpensive way to manage cyber events. While this may change, most organizational functions today existed before computerization, so having a clear and tested backup process should be the easiest way to mitigate cyber incidents. No one can afford to defend everything the same way all the time, so they have to ensure that the right weaknesses are prioritized and mitigated. This means resisting the temptation simply to buy more technical solutions. All too often, businesses end up with technical capability but do not know how and where to employ it. Technical measures can only ever be one part of the cybersecurity plan. Employees are a critical part of any organization's defenses, yet while most of them are aware of the risk, very few truly have the level of understanding they need to avoid falling victim of the phishing or the social engineering based attacks, which remains the major vulnerability for organizations. To address this, there needs to be a real improvement in developing employees' understanding. Sitting them in a classroom for an hour and taking them through the cyber risk will not give them the understanding of the risk they face and mistakes they can make. Companies should adopt far more imaginative approach that truly empower employees by giving them real up-to-date knowledge and experience of how to identify and handle those threats. A central point in understanding cybersecurity is accepting the inevitability of an attack. Successful cyber defenses requires honesty about the risk and potential impacts of cyber incidents and a willingness to assume that the worst can happen. The problem is that chief information officers are often reluctant to conduct cyber resilience tests. They can be afraid of what they might discover or be over-optimistic about how easily their businesses can recover, but it is only by testing the organizational defenses they will truly understand how well prepared they are. There also needs to be a clear recognition that attackers can afford to be patient. They can afford to fail multiple times, they can probe and test from many different directions, and they can wait until they get a lucky break. They will also have a very good sense of what is valuable to a business because they want to steal or destroy it. Well-conducted testing will reveal flaws not just in the IT process but also across the business in areas such as communication, staff management, overall business plans. Only by exposing these problems can the organization take steps to address them. When an attack happens, it is vital to implement a tested plan while remembering the military saying that no plan survives first contact with the enemy. That means having clear ways to change the plan while ensuring leaders are adequately and fully informed and understand the impact of any action. For large organizations, SOCs can be an effective way to ensure recovery plans are implemented. If they work well, they will be able to deploy a right threat intelligence, gather the right data, and apply the right analytics to respond quickly and appropriately. For them to do this, they will need to have a clear understanding of the organizational context and the value chain mapping that has been done. If the security analysts do not understand the organization they are trying to protect, they risk responding to the wrong threats in the wrong way. Even if organizations get all this right today, they need to understand that these solutions will not necessarily be effective next month or the next year. Cybersecurity has always been an evolving problem, but that evolution is accelerating. The ever-increasing amount of data that needs to be monitored and protected is soon going to be beyond most current SOCs can process nowadays. A recent survey found that 93% of the SOCs are unable to triage all potential threats because the volume of incoming alerts is overwhelming. However, this is one area where technology can offer a better solutions. Some organizations are beginning to use artificial intelligence and machine learning to create systems that can carry out more sophisticated monitoring behaviors. They are better able to spot anomalies and changes in behavior, like an employee logging in from a different machine or at a different time or location from usual. It might be an opportunity to understand why that employee put security at risk and how the systems or processes might have made that happen. Another future cybersecurity challenge is the arrival into the workforce of my generation that is more used to share information and using their personal devices in the workplace. So companies will need to find a way of accommodating those different attitudes and ways of working without compromising the security. The fact that cybersecurity attacks keep happening and keep destroying value means it is easy to be pessimistic about our ability to tackle them. It is true that too many organizations still do not understand the full complexity of their value chain or how they generate revenue and do not have a plan to defend it. Some still do not understand that they need to focus on defending the value chain rather than simply defending their networks and systems. That task is not going to get any easier as attackers will constantly find new ways to achieve their aims. There are many organizations that provide the best practices for organizations to implement in their overall business processes. They support a clear process where businesses truly understand the interdependencies and what is important and use this information to develop and implement realistic and effective plans. Organizations will also need to continue to seek expert advice on the best technology and business design to help them to deal with these evolving threats. If we can take these steps to move our awareness of the problem to a real understanding of the risk, we will stand a chance of getting ahead of the attackers. If this information is valuable to you, like, share and subscribe to my channel. We'll catch up again with another topic. Till then, have fun and happy learning.